Good evening and welcome to Thursday's Midlands Today from the BBC. Tonight, the number of families trapped in fuel poverty continues to escalate. In 2003, nearly 7% of homes in this region were affected, but that soared to more than 26% in 2009, an increase of more than 400%.
People are considered to be in fuel poverty if they're spending more than 10% of their income on gas and electricity. Kevin Reid has this report.
Margaret Gale from Balgreen in Coventry has found it difficult to cope since losing a full-time job 2 years ago, followed by the death of her husband a few months later. She now works part-time advising people on how to manage household bills, so it was a surprise to her when she received a huge energy bill herself.
All of a sudden I got this £600 bill in. It was devastating, really. And I just went into a panic. It nearly wiped me out. I thought I could manage. I tell other people how to manage, and all of a sudden I couldn't.
Over the last decade, households in this region have been squeezed by fuel price increases. In 2003, for example, the average household bill was around £500. It's now well over £1,000. And back then, 1 in 10 households were in fuel poverty. That figure is now 1 in 4. Across Coventry and the Fosel area, and Arthur Watkins lives alone after his mother died from cancer. When she passed away, he was so worried about paying the bills, he went without heating for a full 2 years.
I used to just come in and make myself a cup of tea, then probably go upstairs, because I got TV upstairs, and get into bed, keep warm.
Arthur was helped by the Coventry Law Centre, who've seen a huge increase in fuel poverty cases in recent years. So much so, they've set up a special project team to tackle the issue.
The type of cases that we're seeing are people that are really in a bad way with their fuel arrears, not being able to heat their homes, struggling to feed themselves or keep warm.
What's the worst case you've seen recently?
There is just somebody that springs to mind, a gentleman that I saw the other week who actually broke down in an interview at his home because he just couldn't afford to live. He was living on toast and unable to turn his heating on and had no hot water, was boiling a kettle to wash himself.
The Law Centre's also helped Margaret, but as someone who works in the community, she fears her case is just the tip of the iceberg.
We had a talk yesterday with the senior citizens I work with, and some of them are really thinking about giving up their home and going into council homes, which are average of £10, £11 a week cheaper, so that they can pay their fuel bills. They come up and sit in the centre so that they don't have to turn the electric on, because it's electric heating. And it's just, everybody's terrified.
With very cold weather with us now, many will be facing that difficult decision whether to turn up the heat or stay in the cold. Kevin Reid, BBC Midlands Today, Coventry.
Well, a short time ago, I spoke to Jonathan Stern from Consumer Focus, the watchdog which fights to secure a fair deal for energy customers. I started by asking him why he thought this region had the worst fuel poverty in England.
Well, fuel poverty is caused by three things. It's caused by energy prices, how energy efficient homes are, and incomes. And it must be the last two that are the reasons why you have such a high level of fuel poverty. It's to do with income and inefficient houses.
But you mentioned as well the energy firms' prices. I mean, they've seem to be making huge profits, and prices, up until very recently anyway, have been going up enormously. Surely something has to be done about that.
They are going up a lot, and in fact they've gone up about 150% since 2003. Consumer Focus is constantly arguing and questioning the levels of prices that energy companies are charging. We need to make sure as much pressure is put on companies to keep those prices as low as possible. But one of the things that people themselves can do is if they can actually get online and use direct debit, they can get cheaper deals, because you can save about £200 a year if you can do online direct debit.
There will be people watching tonight who can't pay fuel bills. They're getting into debt. Red bills are piling up. What's your advice to them?
There are things that people can do. There's something called Warm Front, which allows you to have heating installed in your home if you haven't got any, or if you've got a very inefficient home. And in the West Midlands, the number of claims for it have gone down by 2/3. So claim Warm Front, because that can make a huge difference. It can actually keep your home warm.
That was Jonathan Stern talking to me a little bit earlier from Consumer Focus.
And there's plenty of fuel poverty advice on our Facebook page, and later in the programme we'll be looking at another fuel issue, this time the rising cost of petrol and diesel, which rural pub landlords claim is having serious repercussions for their bar takings.
Right now though, some